Imagine walking along the greens, under the blue sky, breathing in fresh air. Clean air is vital to our life. It has a significant role in respiration. However, as you try to step outside amidst the urbanized city with smoke and dust that fills in your lungs, you decide
Air quality management refers to activities and actions that the authorities conduct in order to help protect the environment and human health from the toxic effects of pollution.
Poor air quality kills people. Worldwide, bad outdoor air caused an estimated 4.2 million premature deaths in 2016, about 90% of them in low and middle income countries according to the World Health Organization. Indoor smoke is an ongoing health threat to the 3 billion people who cook and heat their homes by burning biomass, kerosene, and coal. Air pollutants cause less direct health effects when they contribute to climate change. Heat waves, extreme weather, food supply disruptions, and other effects related to increased greenhouse gases can have negative impacts on human health.
China has the highest level of CO2 or carbon dioxide emissions, producing 904.07 million tons of carbon dioxide in 2015. China's carbon emissions from fossil fuels and cement production grew by an estimated 4% in the first half of 2019.
Air quality is one of the national concerns of the Philippines. In 2018, the World Health Organization ranked the country having the third highest number of deaths caused by air pollution. Degrading air quality has resulted to increased respiratory illnesses and increased medical expenses among the people.
Greenhouse gas emission from our public transportation comprises 69% of our country's air pollution. 90% of this comes from Metro Manila. In order to address this issue, our government implemented the Public Utility Modernization Program and the Motor Vehicle Inspection Program.
The Utility Modernization Programs aims to shift to advanced engines to cut down carbon emissions and to improve vehicle design to increase passenger capacity. The implementation of this program may enhance the transportation system in the country. The Motor Vehicle Inspection Program checks the roadworthiness of all motor vehicles prior to registration. This is composed of a 50-item test that includes testing of brakes, lights, proper suspension, and smoke emission.
Carbon footprint pollution is the amount of greenhouse gases, especially CO2, emitted into the atmosphere by human activity. Although greenhouse gases occur naturally, human activity contributes a great deal to the emission of these gases.
Carbon footprint can be caused by actions of individuals, family, events, organization, and even the entire nation.
It is commonly associated with the burning of fossil fuels like natural gas, crude oil, and coal.
So, we interviewed Mr. Michael Lewis Ong, a biologist, regarding air quality management and its issues. So, why do you think carbon footprint is a problem we need to address?
So basically, carbon footprint is the amount of carbon dioxide or basically any other greenhouse gas that we produce from our activities. It's very important to address this problem because as you all know, or I hope everyone knows, we are facing a climate change crisis which is primarily caused by global warming, which is actually directly affected by the amount of carbon that we produce as human beings.
So next, what are the impacts of carbon footprint to animals and humans?
So our production or overproduction of greenhouse gases, for that matter, has a direct impact on the global warming phenomenon. So as you all know, global warming has different effects primarily on our environment. So in terms of animals, it destroys some of the habitats. And then for us humans, the increasing heat actually provides us with a very unstable global temperature which results to various health problems.
So, what human activities affect or contribute to carbon footprint?
So actually almost all of our basic human activities affect our emission of greenhouse gases. So primarily whenever we turn on the electricity, so how do you actually use electricity? Your mobile phones, your televisions, your laptops, even the lights, the amount of electricity you use directly contributes to carbon footprint. What else? So we also burn fuel. So when you cook, when you use your cars, so public transportation, even the private ones, so even the most basic ones, even the manufacturing of our goods contributes to carbon footprint.
So, do you think the government is doing enough to address this environmental threat?
So basically, if we talk about the environment, the government for that matter, excuse me, I think that very little is being done to address this threat, not just here in our country but on a global scale, primarily because we rely too much on the modern technology, and as you know, it is the same technology that actually increases our use of, or actually emission of carbon dioxide.
What are some tips that one can practice on a daily basis that could help improve air quality?
So, if we try to relate air quality to your carbon footprint, perhaps even children can actually lessen it by, for example, turning off your appliances when you're not using them, turning off your lights. So, another way is carpooling. So, you can try to carpool or use public transportation. May tinatamaan ba? So, another thing is that basta you just try to reduce the usage of electronics because our modern society relies on electricity too much. So if you try it, you actually reduce that. You are also helping in reducing the carbon footprint and in a way increasing the air quality or improving air quality.
So, how does our simple activities such as riding a car create a huge impact in the atmosphere?
So our simple activities such as the one you mentioned, riding a car, so that is one of the primary culprits in producing the greenhouse gases. So, and of course, if there is an increase in the levels of greenhouse gases beyond the normal levels, it contributes to global warming. So, of course, global warming is not reversible as it is now. So, it is a very big issue, and the impact in the atmosphere is quite severe. So, for example, we are talking about just one family. So, it's only us. We're only using one car. So, what does one car do? So, what if there are a million families who are thinking the same thing? All of them thinking, one car. So, in effect, you're actually using a million cars for that matter. So, it is magnified in a scale that is beyond the control of any government. So, it has to start with the unit, the single unit of society, which is us.
Is So, do you think the effects of carbon footprint are still reversible if we act against it now?
If we want to talk about it being reversible, for me, I think it is not reversible. If ever it is reversible, it will be very difficult because it will take all of us to try to reverse it. But I think what we can really do is if we actually stop now, we reduce it now, we can prevent it from progressing or from worsening. So at least that's a start.
What is the significance of air quality management?
For me, it is very important to manage the air quality on Earth, not just in any given area, because the air quality directly affects our quality of life as well. So when we talk about air quality, we also talk about the other pollutants aside from the, let's say, the greenhouse gases that we talked about. We also talk about, for example, smog, the problem with smog and other pollutants. So if we actually manage the air quality, we can actually reduce, for example, the health risks that come with a polluted city. So if you actually read about it, they have a smog problem in China, in even the major cities. So luckily we don't have it here yet in the Philippines. But I hope that we don't come to that point.
What are your thoughts in India po? Like, they're selling oxygen na po in cans.
Actually, I have yet to verify that issue. But India is, if I am correct, it is one of the countries with a very low air quality. So it's very sad to think that there are actually places that try to resort to selling fresh air. So we are still very lucky. We get to breathe the fresh air, or at least cleaner air compared to theirs. So I hope that it will actually serve as a lesson to all of the other places to actually step up. Not just the government or the scientists like us, but also to the youth, especially because you have a large say in what you do at home. You can educate your parents, because our parents were not really familiar. They're not really familiar with the concept of, for example, greenhouse gases, diba? Because they are quite ignorant with the scientific facts. And that is why you're here. We can try to change that. So that is our role as well. So we try to change it for you guys, so you guys can try to change it for others as well. So we cannot do it alone. So for example, me, I can teach all of the classes here, but at the end of the day, if they do not carry it with them at home, nothing will change. Ayun.
Thank you po, sir.
Okay.
With all the air pollution problems that we have in our country, we must start by initiating some action that will lessen air pollution. Now, here are the things the government can do to address the problem. 1. Push through with the idea that each student must plant 10 trees before graduation.
Implement or strengthen current laws or bills that address this issue.
Invest in environmental and agricultural research.
Promote the use of engines or machines that are air-friendly.
Lastly, limit the number of lands used for the business industry. Make sure that there is a healthy balance of lands between business and agricultural purposes.
Go paperless. Only use paper when it is very necessary. Did you know that going digital is not a bad idea after all?
Use your voice and become an advocate to motivate and inspire others to help lessen carbon footprint. Awareness is key to help in reminding other people to know about how air pollution affects us in so many ways.
Lastly, we have to conserve energy at home, school, and everywhere else because energy is a contributing factor of air pollution.
Try carpooling!
Sharing a ride with other people or using other modes of transportation can lessen air pollution or carbon footprint.
Smoke cigarettes or anything that might harm your body and the environment. The youth today are very exposed when it comes to smoking and vaping because it calms their nerves.
We gave you the ins and outs regarding air quality management.
Now, let me ask you, what do you plan to be your greatest impact here on Earth? Your carbon footprint pollution.
Or you being part of our solution? Makes you think, huh? But remember, be part of the solution. Combat carbon footprint pollution.